The car moved slowly through the quiet road, trees on both sides, leaves rustling gently in the summer wind. Miriam sat in the passenger seat, holding her small brown handbag tightly in her lap. Her wrinkled hands trembled a little, but she stayed. Quiet, watching the road with tired eyes. Her adopted daughter, Lena, drove the car with both hands on the steering wheel. She looked straight ahead, not saying much. The silence between them felt heavy, like something important was not being said. Miriam finally spoke, her voice soft but clear. "So, how far is it?" Lena glanced at her, then looked back at the road. "Not too far now," she said. Miriam nodded slowly. She looked down at her handbag. It held only a few things: a photo of Lena as a child, some old letters, and a small silver locket. She didn't pack much. There was no need. In her mind, she had accepted the truth. Lena was taking her to a nursing home. She didn't blame her. She was old now. Her legs were weak, her back always in pain. She needed help. With simple things. Lena had her own life, her own work. Miriam understood. Still, a small part of her heart hurt. She looked out of the window again. The road was changing. There were no more houses, no shops, no people, just fields and hills. "Where are we going?" she asked. Lena gave a small smile. "It's a bit outside the city. More peaceful." Miriam didn't answer. She watched a small bird fly over the car, then vanish into the trees. After another 15 minutes, the car turned onto a narrow dirt path. It was rough and dusty. The trees here were taller, thicker, and darker. The sun barely touched the road. Miriam looked around, confused. "I don't see any signs," she said. "There aren't any," Lena replied. Her voice was calm but firm. Miriam felt a strange feeling in her chest. Not fear, but something close. She trusted Lena, but nothing about this place felt like a nursing home. The car stopped in front of what looked like a large rock wall. Lena pressed something on the dashboard. A soft hum filled the air. Slowly, the rock wall split open, revealing a tunnel. Miriam gasped softly. "What is this?" Lena didn't answer. She drove into the tunnel. Inside, lights flickered on above them, one by one. The tunnel was smooth and metal-lined. Not a single sound came from outside. After a short drive, they reached a large underground hangar. Miriam's eyes widened. In the center of the hangar stood a silver spacecraft, sleek, smooth, glowing with soft blue lights. Lena parked the car and turned off the engine. "We're not going to a nursing home, are we?" Miriam asked, her voice quiet but steady. Lena turned to her and took her hand. "No," she said gently. "We're leaving Earth." Miriam stared at her in shock. "Leaving Earth?" Lena nodded. "I know it's sudden, but I couldn't tell you before. They're rounding up old people. Calling it care relocation, but it's not care, Miriam. It's something else, something dark. I couldn't let them take you." Miriam was silent. Her heart beat faster. She looked at the spacecraft, then back at Lena. "But why? Where are we going?" "There's a place," Lena said. "A colony. Far away, peaceful, safe. They need people like you. People who still remember things that matter. I made a promise when you adopted me. I would protect you just like you protected me." Suddenly, loud sirens echoed through the tunnel. A red light began flashing. "They found us," Lena said. "We have to go now." She jumped out and opened the car door for Miriam. Without thinking, Miriam took her hand and stepped out. Her legs were weak, but Lena supported her. As they rushed toward the ship, Miriam looked back once. The tunnel behind them was closing. Drones were flying in the distance, the world she had known. Her whole life was gone, and ahead of her, a new one waited. Lena helped Miriam up the narrow ramp of the silver spacecraft. The doors slid shut behind them with a soft hiss. Inside, the ship was clean and bright. Smooth metal walls glowed with a soft white light. The floor felt warm under their feet. Miriam held onto Lena's arm, still trying to understand what was happening. Lena guided her into a small seat near the front and buckled her in. "Hold on, she said gently. "This part will be rough." Miriam looked at her with wide eyes. "Are we really going to space?" Lena nodded. "Yes, I know it's a lot, but I promise I'll explain everything once we're safe." Suddenly, the ship shook slightly. A robotic voice spoke from the wall. "Warning, unmarked drones approaching. Launch recommended." Lena ran to the pilot's seat and started tapping buttons. The ship's engine hummed louder and louder. The whole hangar began to tremble. Miriam looked through the front window. Tiny black drones were flying toward the tunnel. They looked like insects with red eyes. She had never seen anything like them before. "Launch in 5, 4, 3. Lena pressed the final button. 2, 1. With a loud blast, the ship lifted into the air. Miriam gasped as the ground fell away beneath them. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she kept her eyes open. They shot through the tunnel like a bullet, then burst out into the sky. The drones followed, firing tiny flashes of light. Lena jerked the controls. The ship dodged left, then right, spinning fast. Miriam's hands clutched the seat tightly. Her head spun. She had never felt such speed. The blue sky turned darker. The clouds fell behind them. Within seconds, the ship broke through the atmosphere. Stars appeared all around them, bright and endless. Miriam sat in silence, staring. The earth looked round and soft from up here, like a blue marble floating in darkness. "We made it," Lena said, breathing hard. "They can't follow us now." Miriam turned to her slowly. "What were those things? Why were they after us?" Lena leaned back in her seat. "They were government drones. They scan for unauthorized humans. That means anyone over 70, not tagged or reported. Most people don't know what really happens. They say it's healthcare relocation, but it's not." Miriam frowned. "Then what is it?" Lena looked sad. "They take the elderly to remote zones. No one hears from them again. No visitors, no messages, just silence. I worked inside their system. I saw the truth. They say you're a burden to resources, but you raised me. You taught me everything. You're not a burden." Miriam didn't speak for a while. Her heart felt heavy. She looked at the stars, thinking about how the world had changed. "So where are we going?" she asked softly. Lena tapped a button on the screen. A map appeared, showing a small dot far from Earth. "There's a colony," Lena said. "It's called Dawnstar. It was built a long time ago, but cut off from Earth communication. A few of us found out it's still alive. People live there, free people. They accept everyone, no matter their age." Miriam slowly smiled. "And you're taking me there?" "Yes," Lena said. "You gave me a home when I had nothing. You saved me. Now I get to return that." Miriam reached over and touched Lena's hand. "You were always a good girl," she whispered. "But I never thought you'd take me to the stars." Lena laughed gently. "I didn't think I would either. But we have a chance now. A new beginning." The ship floated gently through space. Outside, stars sparkled like diamonds on a black blanket. The earth grew smaller behind them. Miriam leaned back in her seat, feeling strangely peaceful. Her fear was gone now. There was still confusion, still questions, but also hope. After a lifetime on Earth, she was finally going somewhere new. Somewhere she was wanted. Somewhere she could live, not just survive. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the hum of the ship calm her. Whatever came next, she would face it. With Lena by her side, Miriam sat quietly as the stars moved slowly past the ship's window. She had never imagined she would see space with her own eyes. Everything looked peaceful and endless. But inside her, questions were growing like storm clouds. She turned to look at Lena, who was checking the ship's controls carefully. "Tell me the truth now," Mariam said. How long have you been planning this? Lena looked up, surprised by the firmness in Mariam's voice. A few years, Lena replied. It started when I worked in the city hospital. I began noticing something strange: old patients disappearing. No goodbye, no notice to families, just gone. Mariam frowned. They said they were sent to care centers. That's the lie, Lena said. I followed one of the transfer teams once. They didn't go to any care center. They went to a secure zone. No return. I asked questions, too many questions. That's when they put me on a watch list. Mariam's eyes grew wide. Then why didn't you run earlier? I had to wait for the right time, Lena said. I found a small group of rebels hiding in the data network. They shared secrets, plans. One of them told me about Dawnstar Colony. That's when I knew what I had to do. Mariam sat back in her seat, slowly shaking her head. I thought the world was better now. Safer, kinder. Lena sighed. It used to be. But somewhere along the way, they decided elders weren't useful anymore. They want a world of perfect workers, no illness, no age, no memories. Mariam looked out the window. Then they've lost their heart. The ship's control screen beeped. Distance to Dawnstar, 16 hours, Lena smiled. We're on the right path. Dawnstar is small, but it's free. No control systems, no tracking, no age laws. What kind of people live there? Mariam asked. All kinds, Lena said. Some are ex-soldiers. Some are teachers, farmers, even scientists who escaped the Earth programs. Most of them are older. They built the colony when Earth began to change. Mariam's voice was soft. People like me? Yes, Lena said. People like you. People with wisdom, with stories, with value. Mariam stayed silent for a moment. Then she looked at Lena with teary eyes. I never had a real family, she said. I never married, never had children of my own. But when I found you, I felt like life started again. I never thought you'd take me to the stars. Lena reached over and gently held her hand. You gave me a home when I had no one. You were my light. Now it's my turn. A sudden flash lit up the ship. Lena jumped and turned to the screen. Warning, tracker signal detected. Possible pursuit incoming. No, Lena whispered. They found us. Mariam sat straight. Can they catch us? They can try, Lena said. But this ship is fast. We need to make one light jump. It's risky, but it'll shake their scanners. Lena activated the controls. The ship started glowing blue. Light jump in 10 seconds. 9, 8. Mariam held the seat. Will it hurt? It might feel strange, Lena said, but it'll be over quick. 3, 2, 1. Light jump engaged. A flash of pure white filled the cabin. Mariam felt her body stretch and press down at the same time. Her ears buzzed. Her heart pounded. Then silence. When she opened her eyes, the stars looked different. Bigger. Closer. Lena let out a breath of relief. We did it. We're far enough now. They can't reach us. Mariam looked around, still dazed. What just happened? We moved faster than light, Lena explained. It's called a jump. Not many ships can do it. Ours was built in secret by the rebel engineers. Mariam leaned back, trying to catch her breath. It felt like time changed. Lena smiled. In a way it did. They sat in silence for a while, safe, alone in the stars. Then Mariam spoke again. Lena, do you think people can live without memories? Lena looked at her. No. Memories are what make us human. Mariam nodded slowly. Then maybe Dawnstar is the last real place for humans. Lena placed a hand on her shoulder. Then let's go and help it grow. Outside, the stars glowed quietly. A new life was waiting. And this time, Mariam would not be forgotten. 16 hours later, the stars around the ship began to shift. A soft beep echoed in the cabin. followed by a smooth voice. Approaching Dawnstar Colony. Prepare for landing. Miriam slowly opened her eyes. She had fallen asleep in the chair. Lena stood near the window, her eyes glowing with hope. We're here, Lena said. Miriam stood carefully, using the seat for support. So that's the place you've been talking about. Outside the ship, a small green planet floated in. Space. It wasn't large like Earth, but it looked peaceful. The surface was covered with forests, mountains, and lakes. Around one of the largest valleys, small lights blinked gently, signs of life. Lena guided the ship down toward the lights. As they entered the planet's atmosphere, clouds swept past. The windows. The ship shook lightly, but Miriam didn't feel afraid this time. She simply held her seat and looked out in wonder. Below them, buildings began to appear round, simple homes made from smooth stone and metal. There were solar panels on the roofs, gardens on the ground, and tall wind towers turning slowly in the wind. The colony was small but beautiful. People were walking between buildings. Children ran in the open fields. Old men and women sat together, under trees, talking and smiling. Some even looked up as the ship approached and waved. They're not hiding, Miriam said with surprise. They don't have to, Lena replied. No cameras, no trackers, just people living. The ship landed softly near the edge of the colony. A small group waited outside, their faces kind and calm. As the doors opened, fresh air filled the cabin, cool, clean, and full of the scent of trees and earth. Lena stepped out first, then helped Miriam down the ramp. An older man stepped forward. His skin was dark and lined with age, and his silver beard reached his chest. He smiled warmly. Welcome, he said. You must be Lena, and this must be Miriam. Miriam looked at him with surprise. You know our names? We received your message a week ago, the man said. We've been waiting. I thought messages didn't reach Earth, Lena said. Not Earth, the man replied. But some of your rebel friends sent word. We owe them much, and we're always ready to welcome one more. He stepped aside and pointed to the colony. Come, let me show you around. As they walked, Miriam noticed how quiet and peaceful everything was. People worked together in the gardens. Children studied under trees with old teachers. Some homes had small windmills turning gently. There were no screens, no loud machines, and no guards. Everything here is shared, the man explained. Food, water, work. Age is not a limit. We believe the old carry the past and the young carry the future. Both are needed. Miriam looked around slowly. She saw a woman with white hair teaching a group of children how to sew. An old man was helping fix a broken solar panel with a boy who looked no older than 10. She smiled. I've never seen anything like this. She whispered. Lena smiled too. I told you, this place is different. They reached a small stone house with a round roof and a wooden bench outside. This will be your home, the man said. It's simple, but quiet. You'll have everything you need. Miriam stepped inside. The house had 2 beds, a small kitchen, and a window with a view of the trees. Everything was clean and warm. A small flower pot sat on the table. She turned to Lena. You really brought me here. Not to a care center, not to a hospital, but here. Lena hugged her gently. You're free now, you're safe. You matter. Miriam closed her eyes and let the moment fill her heart. For the first time in many years, she didn't feel weak. She didn't feel like a problem. She felt like a person again. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, and inside, hope began to grow. The days passed peacefully at Dawnstar. Miriam began to feel stronger again. Each morning, she walked slowly through the gardens, breathing in the fresh air. She helped in the kitchen, told stories to the children, and even joined the evening song gatherings under the trees. The people respected her, not because of her age, but because of her experience. Here, no one looked down on her. In fact, they listened when she spoke. One night after dinner, Lena ran into the house, her face full of surprise. "Amma," she said quickly. "Come to the signal room. Something strange just happened." Miriam stood up. "What is it?" Lena helped her walk across the colony to a tall stone tower. Inside, a few colony members were gathered around a large screen. An old machine blinked with blue lights. On the screen, strange symbols moved slowly across a dark background. "It started 5 minutes ago," one of the men said. "A signal from space. It's repeating every minute. But the symbols aren't ours." Miriam stepped closer and looked at the screen. Her eyes narrowed. "Wait," she said softly. "That looks like ancient Earth script." Everyone turned to her. "You can read it?" Lena asked. "I studied languages when I was young," Miriam said. "This is an old Earth code used for deep space programs. It was forgotten long ago." She sat at the control table and looked carefully at the message. Her fingers moved slowly over the keys, and her eyes scanned the lines again and again. After a few minutes, she spoke. "It says, 'Warning. Halrix approaching. Colony in danger. Seek the moon.' The vault will help." Silence filled the room. Lena frowned. "Who or what is Halrix?" Miriam shook her head. "I don't know. But someone out there knows we're here. And they're warning us." The man near the screen looked worried. "This signal came from a satellite near our moon. It was thought to be dead." "Maybe it woke up because danger is coming," Miriam said. "This message isn't random. Someone left it for us." Lena stepped forward. "If there's a vault on the moon, we should check it." Another woman spoke. "But the moon hasn't been visited in years. We don't know what's there. It could be broken or worse." Marion turned to her. "And if we ignore it, what if this Halrix comes and we're not ready?" The room grew quiet again. Finally, the older man in charge nodded. "We'll send a small team, a scout ship." Lena stepped forward. "I'll go." Miriam looked at her. "Then I'm going too." Everyone looked shocked. "No, Amma," Lena said quickly. "It might be dangerous. You should stay safe here." Miriam's voice was calm but firm. "I'm the only one who can read this language. If there's more writing or more clues, you'll need me." Lena hesitated, then slowly nodded. The next morning, they prepared a small ship. It had space for 4 people. Lena would fly it. Miriam would join her. 2 others, Jaron, a young pilot, and Toma, a strong engineer, volunteered to help. The ship lifted off just after sunrise. The colony waved from below as it rose into the sky. As they left the planet's atmosphere, Miriam looked down one last time at Dawnstar. It looked small but strong. "Do you think this Halrix is real?" Jaron asked. "I don't know," Lena replied. "But whoever sent that message believed it." Miriam stared ahead. "Something is coming. I can feel it, and we must be ready." Ahead of them, the moon grew larger, gray and silent, but hidden. Under its surface, there was something waiting. Something left behind, something meant to help. The ship floated gently above the surface of Dawnstar's moon. It was quiet, gray, and full of dust. Craters covered the land, and the sky above was black with stars. Miriam stared out the window, feeling both amazed and nervous. "We're close," Lena said, pointing to the screen. "There's a signal coming from under that ridge." Jaron slowed the ship and brought it down near a flat, rocky area. As they landed, the dust rose in slow clouds. The moon had no wind, no air. Everything moved like a dream. The 4 stepped out of the ship in light suits. Miriam's suit was special, soft and easy to walk in. Lena held her arm to support her as they moved across the surface. "There," Toma said, pointing ahead. "That metal patch, it's not natural." Half buried in the moon dust was a smooth, round surface. It shimmered slightly under their lights. Jaron brushed the dust away, revealing a symbol, an old Earth science logo from hundreds of years ago. It's a vault, Mariam whispered. A memory vault. They used these to store dangerous or important technology. Very few were ever built. Lena pressed a button on her wrist. A light scanner moved across the symbol. The ground beneath them began to shake. Slowly, a round door opened with a deep hiss, revealing a staircase that led down into darkness. The group moved carefully inside. The airlock closed behind them, and lights flickered on. The room was wide and filled with smooth machines. Strange shapes lined the walls, glass containers, silver boxes, and glowing panels. In the center stood a tall glass column filled with blue light. "This is it," Mariam said softly. "The neural echo array." Toma looked confused. "What is that?" "It's a memory machine," Mariam explained. "One of the first made by human scientists before Earth changed. It stores knowledge, thoughts, even parts of the mind. They used it to protect rare skills in case of disasters." Jaron stepped closer. "And it still works?" Mariam nodded. "It looks active. Someone must have kept it running all these years." On the side of the column was a metal panel with ancient buttons. Mariam touched one gently. The blue light flickered, then a voice filled the room. "Echo array ready. Please select transfer type." Lena stared at the glowing column. "Could this help us fight whatever Halrix is?" "Yes," Mariam said. "If we upload knowledge, tactics, history, strategy, it can guide our people. It can become a mind to protect the colony." Toma frowned. "But who will give the memories?" "It needs a real person's thoughts." Mariam looked at the others. Quietly, "I will," she said. "No," Lena's voice was sharp. You can't. It might harm you." "I'm old, Lena," Mariam said gently. "But my mind still holds value. I've seen many things. I've learned from pain, love, war, and peace. Let me leave something behind that can help." Lena's eyes filled with tears. "But I don't want to lose you." "You won't," Mariam said with a smile. "I'll still be here, just in a new way." The room was silent. Finally, the others stepped back. Lena helped Mariam into the seat beside the column. Wires gently wrapped around her head, and soft lights blinked. "Begin memory transfer." Mariam closed her eyes. "Yes." A soft hum filled the room. The blue light grew brighter. Images flashed through the air, memories of Mariam's childhood, her teaching days, her long walks, the moment she adopted Lena, the nights she read to her, the time she stood strong when others fell. Every part of her mind flowed into the machine like light and water. After several minutes, the voice spoke again. "Transfer complete. Neural echo active." The lights dimmed. Mariam opened her eyes. Slowly. She was tired, but smiling. "It worked," she whispered. Lena rushed forward and hugged her tightly. Toma looked at the screen. "The array is running. It's thinking. It knows us." Jaron nodded. "Then we just gave Dawnstar a powerful gift." Outside, the stars still watched silently. But now, in this forgotten moon vault, a human mind had become something greater. And Dawnstar had a new guardian. The journey back to Dawnstar was quiet. The small ship floated gently through space, heading home. Mariam sat in her seat, feeling tired but peaceful. Her body was weak, but her mind was calm. Lena sat beside her, holding her hand. "Are you feeling okay?" Lena asked softly. Mariam smiled. "Yes, just a little sleepy, but my heart feels light." Jaron, the pilot, looked back. "The neural echo is stable. We've connected it to our main system already. The colony will be ready," Toma nodded. "We'll test it when we land. If it works as we hope, the colony will have the knowledge of 100 years inside one system." Lena looked at Mariam with gentle eyes. "Not just knowledge. It's her heart, her thoughts, her care." Mariam chuckled softly. "Well, I hope it's enough to help you." As the ship entered the planet's atmosphere, the people of Dawnstar gathered near the landing field. News had already spread about the moon vault and the memory machine. Everyone waited in silence as the ship landed. When the doors opened, cheers filled the air, but they grew quiet again when they saw Miriam being helped out. She walked slowly, holding Lena's arm, her steps unsteady. Yet her face glowed with strength. The leader of the colony, the old man with the silver beard, stepped forward. "You have done something great, Miriam," he said. "You have given us hope." Miriam smiled gently. "I just gave what I had left." Later that night, the colony gathered in the main hall. A screen lit up the room, and the neural ecosystem was connected. A soft blue light appeared, and then a calm, clear voice filled the room. It sounded like Miriam, but stronger, clearer. "Hello, people of Dawnstar. I am Miriam's echo. I carry her thoughts, her lessons, her love. I am here to help." The people stared in wonder. The echo continued. "We will begin with safety. Training. The Helrix threat is real. I will guide you." Over the next few hours, the system showed maps, defense ideas, and warning signals. It helped engineers fix old machines. It gave doctors advice based on old human medical records. It even taught children with stories and games. Miriam watched from the side. Wrapped in a blanket, she turned to Lena. "Now I know, even after I'm gone, I'll still be here, helping." Lena's eyes were full of tears. "You gave them more than knowledge. You gave them courage." In the following days, the colony changed. People worked harder, moved faster, and stayed alert. With Miriam's echo, they built new watchtowers, trained teams to act during emergencies, and protected weak areas around the colony. But the echo wasn't just for danger. It also reminded people to rest, to care, to laugh. Sometimes it told old jokes. Sometimes it played soft music during meals. Children began to call it Grandma Light. One evening, while watching the stars, Lena sat beside Miriam. "You started something big," she said. Miriam looked up. "I just did what I could. The rest is up to you now." Suddenly, a beep came from Lena's communicator. She checked the message. "It's from the outer scan system. A ship has entered this sector. It's not from Earth." Miriam nodded slowly. "Then the warning was true." Lena stood. "We'll be ready." "Because of you." Miriam looked once more at the sky. Her body was weak, her time short, but her spirit felt strong. Her story would not end in silence. It would live on in light, in words, in hearts. She had escaped a world that forgot her, and built a future that remembered.